A premium set of headlights can drastically change the performance and appearance of any build, and these Nova Series LED projector headlights with the black housing and the clear lens will achieve just that for your 2012 to 2015 Toyota Tacoma. Now these will offer superior styling, great for anybody who wants to change the game with their build and really make it stand out apart from the rest with modernized styling and a blacked out build. Now not only will these look good, but if your current headlights are starting to hinder your visibility, whether it's from the bulbs or the housings causing a problem, these will be a great solve and improve your lighting performance on dark back roads and dark trails. Now these will feature a couple notable elements here. Now starting off with the daytime running light, these will include a C-shaped LED light bar surrounding the outside of the headlight with a small break in the center for the amber marker light. Now not only will this act as a DRL, but also include an amber switchback function for your turn signal, which will look sharp and set you apart from the other rigs on the road. Getting into the high and low beams, these will be featured in a multiple projector setup, which will create more of a uniform beam pattern and consistent lighting performance for optimal visibility when driving at night. However, these also are going to stand apart from the rest with the quad projector setup, really giving it a premium appearance. Getting into the build, these will have a tough, high-quality polypropylene housing for an OEM-style fit while integrating into the inside of the headlight as well for more of that stealthy appearance. Now the lenses will be tough polycarbonate, being impact-resistant and able to take whatever abuse they may come in contact to on the street or on the trail. Now when getting into detail about the lighting, the high and low beams will consist of Osram black flat LED chips with the outer bubble or projector for that high light output. Additionally, these will be plug and play, making life simple when it comes to getting these onto your truck. Now when it comes to price, you can probably imagine that with the build here and the function that these won't come cheap. Now these will cost you roughly $1,200 all in, and I think for a premium lighting performance setup that they're totally worth it. Now compared to other choices, these really stand apart from the rest with the design and the full LED construction, so you don't have to compromise when it comes to the build while getting an easy install to boot. Now other similar options may require wiring, may swap out bulbs, or may only include a dual projector setup instead of this quad setup here. Now I think if you're looking to go all in with a headlight upgrade, then this is going to be the option to take a look at. When it comes to install, this is going to be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it should probably take you about 1 hour to get the job done. Now speaking of the install, let's head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown of the install step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, an electric ratchet, a hand ratchet, a clip remover tool, a flathead screwdriver, a panel remover tool, a shallow and deep 10mm socket, and some microfiber towels. What's up guys? Today we're installing a set of headlights on our Tacoma. First we're going to watch a quick video on how to uninstall our factory headlights, and then I'll meet you right back here for the install.
Alright, so the first step in our install, we're going to remove several pop clips on each side of the grille to remove the grille itself. With a pop clip removal tool or a trim panel removal tool, go ahead and remove the pop clip. Remove the pop clip on the other side as well. At this point, you can remove 2 10mm bolts holding on the top of your grille. At this point, we can remove our grille, pull up on the plastic brackets on top, and then grab your grille and pull straight forward to release all of the clips. Alright, so at this point we're going to remove the trim piece beneath the headlight. In order to do this, we're going to grab a trim panel removal tool, and if you're worried about scratching your paint, you can throw a bit of painter's tape on the end here. To release the tab, go on the top here. You're going to look for a green pop clip, and if you press on the back of the pop clip, it will release the tab. To release the back of this trim piece, put your pop clip in the end and twist forward because the clip goes in this direction. At this point, you can remove the 2 10mm bolts holding on the top of your headlight. Alright, so there is one more bolt that we do have to remove, which is a bit hard to get to. It's right about here on the bottom of your headlight, and the way we're going to access this is remove 2 bolts underneath the wheel well liner and 1 screw in the side of it. With a 10mm socket, remove the 2 bolts underneath your bumper. this point, we're also going to remove a pop clip with a stubby flathead screwdriver. Twist it to remove. With that clip removed, peel back your wheel well liner. And now you should be able to access the bolt by going in through here to the back of the headlight. All right, now with the wheel well liner back, you can see this bolt. You might have a little trouble seeing it on camera here, but you can feel the one that you have to remove. We're gonna grab a 10mm socket and a ratchet, and we're gonna go ahead and get it out. With all the bolts removed, we're now going to release this tab here. You can do this by hand, or if you like, you can do it with a flathead screwdriver, and you're just going to pry forward. Release the 2 tabs at the top as well. Again, you can just lift up, or if you have a flathead, just pry it off. Now that the headlight is released and loose on your truck, we're going to disconnect each of the connectors at this point. Go ahead and pull each of them off. There should be 3. 1 main and then 2 marker lights. And there's one a little bit farther forward up here. Now that everything is released and your headlight's disconnected, it's a matter of wiggling the headlight and maneuvering it in just the right way for it to come out.
So now our first step to installing our new headlights is to run our wire harness. We have a fuse tap that's going to run through the firewall and into the cabin, into our under dash fuse box. And then we have a positive and negative that are going to go onto our battery terminals. And then we can run our wires across to the other side. So now we're going to be going through this grommet to the right of our brake booster. We have our fuse tap. So we can pull our wires out of the way and get it through our grommet. And then we can go inside the cabin to pull that the rest of the way through. So now we can come into the cabin and pull our harness the rest of the way through. And then we're going to be popping off our fuse box cover so we can pull it down, and then it's got 2 clips on either side at the bottom, so we can just pop that out to remove our cover. So now we're going to be tapping into our ignition fuse. If we look at the back of our cover, that's going to be a 15-amp fuse in the top left. It's going to be that blue fuse. And then we can grab a pair of needle nose pliers to get in there and pull it out. And then we can grab our fuse tap. We're going to run this up through the back of our panel and then add our 15-amp fuse that we just removed. And then we can plug it right back in to where we took that 15-amp fuse out of. And then we can grab our cover. We're going to slide these 2 notches in first and then clip down our 2 clips on the bottom to reinstall our cover. So now we can come back to our engine bay. We have a power and a ground that we're going to have to hook up to our battery. So we're going to loosen up the 12mm bolt on our positive terminal. We don't have to remove this all the way. Just enough where we can slide in our positive connection. And then we can tighten that back down. And then we're going to add our ground right here. It's going to be a 10mm bolt. Then we can slide our negative in and tighten that back up. So now next we can run our wires for our headlight. You can run this however you'd like. The way I'm going to do it is we're going to take our longer wire that's going to run to our passenger side and put that down through our driver's side headlight bucket. and we're gonna run it straight across to the other side. We can put a zip tie here on this cross support. And then our yellow wire, we're gonna run straight into our driver's side headlight bucket. And then our shorter wire that goes with the longer wire is gonna go straight down into our headlight bucket as well. So now that we have our harness installed, we're ready to plug in our headlights. Now all of our connectors on the back are different, so you can't mix them up. So we'll plug this in and then we'll get this installed onto the truck. So now we can grab our black wire. That's gonna be plugging into our brown. And then our yellow will go to our yellow. And then we can grab our stock harness. Got 3 plug going to the 3 plug. And now once we have everything plugged in, we can just angle our headlight into place. Clip it into the bottom here, and then clip it in up top. Now once we have our headlight installed, we can reinstall our 2 factory 10mm bolts. And then we'll grab our 10mm socket to tighten these down. Next, we can reinstall our lower trim piece. Now we have this tab that's gonna slide into, and then we can push our clip in. So next we need to reinstall our factory bolt that goes into the bottom right side on our driver's side of our headlight. This is going to be very hard to see on camera, if not impossible. Now that we have our headlight in here, we're going to access that through the fender well. We'll pull the fender liner back, put our bolt through, and then I've got a 1/4 inch ratchet with a shallow 10mm socket so that we can fit it in there to tighten down our bolt. Now once we have our bolt hand threaded into place, we can grab our ratchet to tighten that down. So now coming back to our wheel well, we can reinstall our factory 10mm bolt that holds our fender liner in place. And then we'll grab our 10mm socket to finish tightening that down. So now we can come back under our bumper and reinstall our 2 factory 10mm bolts. And then once again, we'll grab that 10mm socket to tighten these down. And now at this point, we can repeat that same process on the other side. Now before we reinstall our grill, we're gonna go in with a zip tie, just a zip tie or harness, just to make sure it doesn't move around and get caught in anything. Now you can use however many zip ties wherever you'd like to secure your wire. I'm just gonna throw one right around here just to hold it in place. So next we can grab our grill, line it up, get it into place, and then clip it in. Now lastly, we can come back up and reinstall our 2 push clips as well as our 2 bolts. And then we'll grab our 10mm socket to tighten these down. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Nova Series LED projector headlights with black housing and clear lens for your 2012 to 2015 Tacoma. Thank you for watching, and for all things Tacoma, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.